Hi, this is Oddball1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox. And today I've got a wonderful PvP 1v1 for you, my Gimbal Scrubbiness versus a bank tank Python. You don't see them very often. Unfortunately I have no railgun on here, but this is what happens when you challenge the verse to come down and fight you in the beamed lance. You have no control over what ships they bring, and it's all good fun. I don't mind, doesn't matter what you bring. If you want to challenge me to 1v1, come on down and have a fight. All GG's, all silliness. I'm not expecting to win the majority of these, but it's to drive out my space madness. Just to get rid of the last vestiges of space madness from my trip out in the black. I would rather have consensual 1v1s and fun 1v1s against people than like anything else. So if you want to come down and kill me, please feel free. I would recommend chaff. Or bank tanks. Oh my lord. So I've got to try and eat through 2 sets of banks on this Python, and bank tanks are a nightmare for me. I think I do a reasonable job of evading. For the most part I do a reasonable job of outputting damage, but this is always going to be a tough fight for me, always going to be an uphill struggle. My glass cannon doesn't tend to do too well against bank tanks because I don't have a bank cancelling rail. I basically then have to eat my way through all of those shields. So all the shields he's got and then all the banks on top. Got no way of stopping it. But it's a great exercise for me and a good way of getting out my space madness. There's nothing better than trying to hex beam and having to hex beam and hex beam and hex beam. So let's get in there without shadow of a doubt. Did I just ram him with 3 pips? That's disappointing. Normally I'm pretty good at my pip management when it comes to ramming. So one time I'm actually good at pip management is preparing to ram somebody, because I do it quite often, just especially against ships like this that have bank tanks, because I have a very strong one and done shield and a quite heavy ship, so ramming is definitely one of my specialties. Plus it's nice to change tactic from orbiting once in a while, because it hurts my hand after a while, this much orbiting and using laterals. It's not a fun way to fly. Now people ask me why I don't use fixed beams on this. There's 3 main reasons why I don't use fixed beams. 1, I suck something awful with fixed beams. 2, the way I fly my beam to lance, the way I orbit, is way easier to pull off, and I evade a lot more with gimbaled beams, and I get much more time on target with the gimbal beams. So I think realistically, between me sucking and me evading, this is the best version I've found of running this ship. I do have fixed beams for it, and I use them once in a blue moon. If I know I'm fighting a big, I might get them out. But it's very rare. If we're going after somebody I know lives in a Corvette, there are a few people out there still like that, I will, think about getting the fixed beams out and going after the Corvette in the fixed beam version. And the third reason I don't use fixed beams is, did I say this already? I suck something awful with them. Now fixed beams are very effective, and if you're good enough, I would recommend using them. They're amazing. Here's a clip from Frodo and showing what fixed beams can do as he wins the fight for the Darksaber on Jabba's palace. Anyway, I'll show you a little snippet of that. Frodo with fixed beams and gimbaled frags. It's a nice, interesting ship. I like the look of it, but yeah, I couldn't use the fixed beams, and they just, the way I fly, the flight assist on, and the orbiting, it's just easier because I can pull wider angles with the gimbal beams. But if you're good enough to use fixed, they have a small gimbaling effect if you're very close to target, and they are, 30% more damaging. So the interesting thing is, with the thermal damage, the extra thermal damage I get on this, I'm quite often doing the same damage as the fixed beams would do. But if I was using fixed with thermal conduit, I'd be doing what the fixed beams do plus another 30%. So yeah, it would, if you're good enough and you can get the time on target, I would highly recommend the fixed beams. However, I suck something awful, so I stick to the gimbal scrubbiness, and it suits me. This ship for me is just fun. I am happy to take on all comers. This is my all comers ship. I've lost many a duel in it, and it doesn't bother me. Like I say, the rebuy is really cheap, and it's good fun. The fact that at some point in the fight, I'm going to lose my shields, and then I'm already dead. But it's a matter of whether I take you with me. This ship, it's glorious, the amount of heat you can get, and how bright the beams go. It's just funny. The irony is, some of my best and favourite fights in this ship are the ones that I've lost. Still, my favourite fight is losing to Ration by 1%. It was an absolutely awesome fight. It's on my channel. I put it to the good, the bad, the ugly music, and it's just a really cool fight. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed myself. I'm not the best when it comes to PvP. I'm going to get outclassed by the majority of people that do PvP more often than me, and it doesn't bother me because I'm not a PvPer. I'm a pirate. I'm good at piracy, bad at PvP, so I'm happy to just have fun being a pirate who occasionally does a bit of PvP, has a bit of a laugh, shoots at people. All GG's, all fun. I make so much money in this game, it doesn't bother me taking the odd rebuy. And like I say, I've said it many times in many of my videos, my ambition when it comes to PvP is to be good enough that I don't get speedrun. And that's basically it. Beyond that, it's maintenance. That's it. I have different goals to PvPers. PvPers who want to be the best, I can kind of understand the mentality, but it always makes me laugh, because it's like your pursuit of something that nobody cares about but you is kind of funny. Nobody's going to care that you were really good at a video game 10 years from now. Ain't going to happen. Sorry. And the amount of hours you invested in trying to get good at that, fair play, dedication and all that, but it's a bit of an odd thing to really sweat out. Whereas someone like me, just have a giggle, just have some fun, shoot some stuff. I was a little pre-cooked before this fight because the opening clip was me fighting something else, and we'd been in system a while killing members of ARC. This was while we were doing the ARCI incident, so this was just a little side 1v1 I had while that was going on. I didn't also have my full heat sinks, and unfortunately one of my multi-cannons ran out of ammo, which was a little bit disappointing. I think both my multi-cannons are out of ammo at this point in the fight, which might have made a difference, but probably not, considering how low my hull is and the fact I'm on fire. I do GG gracefully after this one. I was a little pre-cooked, but I wasn't pre-cooked enough that it would have affected the result. Probably should have simped some more ammo and reloaded my heat sinks, but ultimately it wouldn't have made a difference. Fire Chicken there has won this one fair and square. I don't outlast the bank tank, but I do go out swinging, which is all I wanted to do. And I always have my secondary goals when I fight someone who's better than me in a ship that I don't expect to win, and in this case I wanted to see if I could get through all his banks, because that's a lot of banks to get through, and if that's the last his shields have got, I wasn't that far off getting his shields down. But it would be nice if I got through his banks. But GG to General Phoenix. I'll show you the chat we had, but that has exercised some of my space madness and got it out of my system, which is nice. And yeah, it was all GG's. So yeah, no worries. I got beaten by the better pilot in the better ship on the day. But that, is all I really worry about. and I count it as a win because I got through his shield banks. That's, to me, that's success. I actually did get through his banks. So yeah, and then I put the excuse in, but I'm like honest, it wouldn't have made a difference if I'd have been fully fit. I would have lost that fight. Phoenix won it by a clear margin. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, and let me know what you think in the comments down below.